Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and today I am joined by Chris, my buddy in Australia, where it is actually Christmas.
Yeah, I'm in the future.
Yeah, he's in the future. It's time travel is possible. Is this a UFO episode? It's not. It's just that's our world. It's round, turns out. I was a flat earther for many years, and I've been proven wrong. Chris told me, he said, if the Earth is flat, then why isn't it the same time everywhere right now? And I said, all right, I'm going to give up my flat Earth ways. And I did. All right. So, and then Merry Christmas to Star Wars Santa, one of my best buds, and one of my other best buds, Mark Hamilton. Good to see you guys. And I hope you guys have a good Christmas. Yeah. So this episode, kind of, if you're staying away from spoilers, look, my glasses keep fogging up from my coffee. If you keep following us, you know that we cover spoilers. So if you're new to the show for whatever reason, we're probably might be covering spoilers that might be spoilers, but they might not be. There was a 4chan leak, and in it, there's this plot point, and it's that Boba gets this protege. Essentially, he saves a girl. She meets a girl out in the city, and then or like in a village or something like that. And then she ends up hanging out with them, becoming like part of the gang. By the end of the series, he sees her as a daughter, and she ends up being kidnapped by Cad Bane and kind of like the catalyst for the end fight. That's what the leak said. And if it's legit, we don't know if it is. And I had a DM from a friend, and he's like, why don't you go dig on it? Like, why don't you go and ask everybody if that's real or not? And if somebody tells me, if they bring it to me, then I'll do it. But whenever I have an opportunity to ask something or to find out something, I don't try to go find out something that already exists. And I try not to waste my time on that stuff. And on top of it, whenever I try to debunk something, it just leads to fights. People are mad at you because you debunked the thing that they love, that they wanted to happen. Luke Skywalker is in the whole movie, whatever it happens to be, and you debunk that, they get mad at you. So, so essentially, I haven't wasted my time and my mental health to track down and correct if 4chan is correct or not. I kind of hope it is. There's a lot of stuff in it I like, and so I do hope it's accurate. And if a source wants to tell me if it's accurate, I'll gladly hear it. But we're gonna know here in a couple of days. It'll be pretty evident if that stuff is accurate or not. So what's the point, you know? And I just went on Fortnite and dropped some cash on the V-Bucks to get the kids Fennec Shand and Boba Fett when they come out in a few hours.
Nice.
Yeah, tonight's supposed to be the night. They told me I can't get it. I get to play the Mando, they said. The character skin from a year ago now, 6 months ago now. So thanks, kids. Merry Christmas. But yeah, so a new little TV spot hit today. And so that's why I jumped on a bit early, because I wanted to cover it with my buddy Chris. And by the way, Chris is the most helpful dude ever. If anything goes on, he's always like tapping me on the shoulder, like, "Hey, dummy, did you see that over there?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Over there, man." I'm like, you got to fill me in, man. You're like 15 minutes ahead of me. No, I mean, you're in Australia. You're actually in the future.
True.
And so yeah, I usually wake up with a tap from Chris telling me, "Hey, over here." Yeah, very helpful dude, and I appreciate you, man. And you've always been really cool with that stuff. So thank you.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right, so let's kind of like watch the little TV spot here called Throne. Not about a toilet. No, this isn't the one where Boba takes a deuce. Not that one. But we'll see what happens.
Jabba the Hutt once sat upon that throne.
Double flush.
You all accrued wealth and riches under Jabba. You can again. With this man, Boba Fett.
that new
prevents
city.
us all from killing you?
Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
Yeah, it's a pretty good shot right there at the end.
Bounty hunter.
I'm the Crime Lord now. The Book of Boba Fett, streaming December.
Yeah.
There's a lot
So
of new footage there, Jace. A lot of new footage.
yeah, there was. Yeah, we'll go through it with no sound and slow playback speed. Star Wars Santa taught me that trick. I always knew it was there, but I kind of forgot about it. Like it was one of those features on YouTube where you're like, why do I want to watch something slow? And then like now I know.
Yeah.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Max. Yeah, thanks to everybody, by the way, who helped out with the Dave the Cats initiative this week. We did it, and it really means a lot to us that we were able to get the kitties vaccinated and tested and everything like that. And Crub's just a question, but Merry Christmas from Ireland. Merry Christmas, dude. We got Christmas around the world right now. This is wild. All right. So let's I'll take the audio down on this one, and then we'll watch those shots we've seen 100 times real slow. and then we'll pick out the new ones. I have to say I cannot wait to get past this 15 minutes of the first episode. But yeah, you think Jabba actually sat on that chair when he was a more svelte 21-year-old Jabba?
Yeah, I don't really want to think about that.
It's all like coming out the sides.
It looks a bit small for him, yeah. So that's a new shot.
Yeah. Is that the
yeah.
Is that what's Wormy's place? What's his name? Brain farting. Is that Anchorhead?
Anchorhead.
Or is that a different entryway? I think it's a different one, probably.
Yeah, I haven't seen
with the big cutscenes. I wasn't sure if it was that, but it's not that.
I don't think
It's
so,
not that. No, it's totally different. But I got to ask stupid questions to get the right answer. Oh, look, I never really. I probably seen this shot before. Is this a new shot with the boot?
New angle, yeah, it's new angle.
Yeah, because we can see the little jetpack back there. Looks like it's
pretty high in like a penthouse right at the top of the palace there. Looks pretty high from the view.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a new shot.
Has a little yellow tip on the rocket. I wonder if is that black?
Looks dark green to me.
Yeah, is that like normal, or is that like a new paint job though? Because I'm wondering if that plays into the thing about Boba having that stealth outfit. There was a rumor that he has the stealth outfit in the series, but
all black look.
Yeah, I'm curious if that plays into it, or if that's just how it looks, and I haven't been paying attention.
No, I think that's been there for a while, but I actually haven't heard the rumor about the all black look, because he wore that in the comics recently, didn't he?
Yeah, but that's what taints the whole thing, right? Yeah. Is when it does it in the comic book, you're like, well, are people just mentioning what they last saw? Yeah. But all right, yeah, we get it, Fennec Shan. You got stinky feet. Oh no, that's Boba Fett, huh? Yeah. Was that was Boba? Yeah. All right, I need to turn up the brightness on my computer. Here we go. Now I can see what's going on. Every time I watch the show, I just notice that droid's eyes.
It's creepy looking.
Yeah. Yeah. There he is. He put his boots on. Now he's putting on his little gloves. I'm gonna go out to the city.
It kind of reminds me of Iron Man when he just stood there and all the gadgets and all his armor coming on.
Yeah. I always thought it being Jon Favreau, because he did that in the helmet shot for Iron Man. I always thought we would have got that with Mando or Boba, and then with Mando they don't show his face, so they never did it. And then so I'm curious if we'll get that in this. By some, even though it's not Jon Favreau directing. It's kind of funny because the Gamorean guards not necessarily as fat as the old ones, but they'll take their shirt off because for Gamorean guards they got nothing to hide. They have no shame,
aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. So this. Yeah. So they do have two Gamoreans at one point. Later on,
that was from a rumor back in like January or February or something. How they said the two Gamorean guards and then the Hammerhead. So that rumor seems to be true. That week.
Yeah, and I if I remember right, it insinuates that they go to war with each other, but then they also end up teaming up later.
Join forces, him and Hammerhead, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm guessing at some point, yeah, and that's the first episode and the first skirmish or whatever. So I'm guessing that in the first part they win the battle, but not the war. If they're still at it, and then for whatever reason, the Ithorian decides I should probably team up with this guy because whatever's coming is worse or something like that.
Yep.
All right, here's that again. Boy,
I'm getting tired of this shot.
Me too. Yeah, it's like I always have to remind myself that while we sift through every piece of evidence and whatever you want to call it, this is for normal people that are just like, Boba Fett show, huh? Okay. You know?
Yeah. I love that voice, by the way.
That was almost my version of Rob doing Al Bundy. Almost. Yeah,
that's a new shot there.
Yeah, new shot there. Looking very Devo to me. And I like it. I will never think that she shouldn't have a visor, though. Gotta say. It would be so cool with the visor on that costume, but
agreed.
But yeah, at the same time, they want you to. These are main characters, and they want you to be able to see their faces to some degree. I don't think that was originally the case though, because she was supposed to die. But yeah, the back of the helmet always reminds me of the Praetorian Guards. I feel like a Praetorian Guard is looking at me right now from My Last Jedi. But like right here, you could see like kind of more of the geography of where we're at for some of these moments too in the canyon. Is she breakdancing? Dude, this ain't a dance off. This is Star Wars. Come on. She's like, you got served. All right. Are you playing? All right. And there we got the Trando. The Trando and the Mando. Witness the return. Chris, when you watch it, are you going to be like, I just witnessed it. I witnessed the book of Boba Fett.
Well, Jason, you personally know how long I've been waiting for this show because I bother you. I email it, I message you like 10 times a day. So probably, yeah. I probably
Yeah. You're back in the day, it was, will Luke Skywalker have his green lightsaber?
Correct.
And then it was what's going on with Boba and what's going on with Kenobi. Does he have any other costumes? So those have been, I think, your big questions.
Yeah. And my new one is the Black Mando now. You should have kept your mouth shut.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, there's like 75 of them coming or something like that. Yeah. I had talked to another source, and another source was like, yeah, we got like 50 Mandos out there. So yeah, but there's a lot is the point. I don't know if it's a number you could quantify. You know what I mean? Exactly. I'm not sure. Yeah. Exactly. So I think people are just telling me like, but it sounds like it's between 50 and 75. Yeah, and
I'm personally gonna love that.
So yeah, so I think even if I guess there's gonna be a Mando to be like, that's a cool Mando.
Yeah,
it's sure. It's likely to happen.
But that really caught your eye though. So if you think it's cool, I'm gonna think it's cool. That's the way it goes. Yeah,
there's a green and yellow one. I like I said, I saw the stuff really fast. It reminds me almost like of a Marvel Comics Boba Fett,
like bright green.
Yeah, like bright green, bright yellow. Kind of like thing going on, and yeah, I dig it though. I mean, I'm kind of liking it. It's like I feel like by the third season of Mando and the one season of Book of Boba, we're gonna have the standard Mandalorian costumes just totally like played all the way out, you know.
Yeah.
But I keep wondering if we're gonna see that ancient one from Solo: A Star Wars Story, that Mando costume show up, because if Kira is in this as the villain and Kira does face off against Boba Fett at some point in the future, I'm wondering if she's gonna put that shit on.
That'll be pretty.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if she's like gonna like go at him in that kind of gear, because they did put that in the background on the, what's it called? It's like not a Solar Sailor, but whatever that ship is that she has, that like yacht. And yeah, so if the Kira stuff pans out, my prediction is she will in season 2 wear that armor and go up against Boba, because she's like a kung fu master, right? Yeah. She's like, I mean, she's a Terrace Kasi expert, and she's
sorry.
Yeah, no, so it makes sense, right? You would have her eventually fighting him.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's so many awesome variations of Mando helmets. Like, we can't get the standard, Mando Boba Fett one. There's so many like ancient ones, those Imperial ones. There's so many cool helmets they can explore, and the possibilities are really endless.
Yeah,
the potential of cool looking helmets and costumes. But yeah, now I'm intrigued by like bright green, bright yellow. It's gonna stand out.
Yeah, it like next to like Boba Fett, like when you see it, you're like, whoa, that is bright. I mean, it's not neon or anything. To be clear, it's just like it's very much more primary colors. Is how I would put it. Like Boba has a bit of, there's a bit of darkness in the green. It's like a dark green, and this guy is like It almost looks like he and Boba though are going for the same style. They just use different paint.
Whose ship do you think that is?
Yeah, that's kind of the question I have right now. Is this ship important, or is it just a pretty shot? You know what I mean? So they keep showing it to us. And in Star Wars, you never know. Do you think Skad's gang maybe is on there?
I think it's the way the Hammerhead, moves around. I just think that's his ship because it looks pretty. I don't know. I mean, he's the crime lord. The big rival. I think I don't know. I think it could be his ship, but then again, it could be no one's. It could be just a pretty visual. But
yeah,
I think they keep showing us, so I think there's something to it.
The front of the ship kind of reminds me of the Shuttle Tidarium Imperial shuttle. Then on the sides there, we have a little bit of the Tanta V4, whatever the hell it's called, and then we got a little bit of Millennium Falcon design in it. It's kind of pulling on a lot of different Star Wars elements. The way it's almost like if you put all of that and then put it in the Rebel Troop transports like shape almost, and then you got that little back part like the Rebel Troop transport. So yeah, I like the design.
Yeah, the design's pretty cool.
And then there's the. Do you think these are the same Nicktoons that Mando beats up in season 1? Is this the same gang, or is it, or am I being Nicktoonist? Am I being racist against Nicktoons and saying they all look the same to me?
Yeah, they do look the same, but it'll be pretty like a small world that's exactly the same too. You know what I mean? But we'll see. There's a few of them, so it could be just a big ass gang.
Yeah. I guess I should say the ones in that episode probably died. Yeah. And I'm curious if this is like the same gang in the backstory of Star Wars. We'll find out, I'm sure, in some book or something. And for a while, I was assuming that what was the other character's name? It was Skad and like Dratch or something. I can't remember what the other guy's name was, but I thought maybe they were part of the same gang. But when you look at these guys, they're on like swoop speeder bikes and they're on little space Vespas. So I have to almost think that they are entirely different factions or things. Maybe Boba's walking in between a sort of war between Skad and these guys, because they're like kind of like little speeder bike gangs. And gotta put my money on the speeder bike guys over the Vespa guys.
100%.
Yeah, so here she comes right here.
Yeah.
But look how fucked up the city is now.
Shit went down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the little space Vespa I wrote about before I went on my break for a while, and also in the same report as the Naboo starfighter coming. So pretty sure the Naboo starfighter is coming based off of the fact that there it is right there. And I was under the impression, for what it's worth, that the little speeders were for main characters and part of the main cast. So right now I keep going back and forth. I'm like taking that into consideration, taking the 4chan leak into consideration, which might be a red herring, it might be fake. So she might be a one-off in the episode who's just two characters who pass through and they're very minor and play a plot point in the one episode and we never see them again. It could be that. But it also, she could be the person who Boba takes under his wing by the end of the series and becomes like the daughter of Boba Fett. And if that is the case, as time goes on, we would assume that he would pass some kind of Mandalorian armor to her eventually. And if it does go that way, that would imply that during the sequel trilogy era, she will likely be our Boba Fett, so to speak. If we get like a Dread Pirate Robert situation going.
Doesn't that mirror like the Mandalorian a lot, like too much for you? Like we got the Din raising Grogu and the father-son element. Now we're going to get the father-daughter element. It's very, very similar in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, Star Wars is ultimately always about family in some way, and Disney, that's what they sell to. So it wouldn't surprise me. Is my point, and they would. I mean, if they could make Boba Fett a spinoff of Boba Fett while Boba Fett is thriving in the future, I mean, it is an opportunity, and it's an opportunity to change the character, not the character, but that armor and that legacy up in a different era. I mean, he could be around during the sequel trilogy era, but I mean, what's he supposed to be like in his early 40s right now, roughly?
Yeah,
and yeah, so when we get about 30 to 35 years out, that would put Boba in his 70s, and Han Solo was thriving in his 70s for the record, but at the same time, I have to say they will probably change it up.
I think so.
Yeah, and if he has his own series, he may die, eventually. But pretty cool shot. So hey, my band's playing a show. It only costs $6, but you also have to buy two drink minimum, just so you know. And you're like, okay, I'll go. And then you show up, and then the drinks are fucking $15 a piece. Yeah, that's what happens when a pretty girl asks you to go to a show to see her band. Don't fall for it. But yeah, pretty rock and roll. Pretty rock and roll. I'm into it. It's pretty cool.
How old do you think she's meant to be in the show?
I have to say my guess is early 20s. I mean, yeah. I mean, how old do you think she is? She looks like she's probably about 24.
She definitely doesn't look, 14, 15. She looks more mature.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm gonna guess that. Yeah, that one dude may even be her boyfriend or something. You know what I mean? They might be a couple. He might die. I'm kind of curious about if she does end up going on and being that role in that 4chan leak, what happens to him? I mean, he's not mentioned at all, and they apparently come together as a team. So, yeah.
Well, about that leak, there was a lot of rumors about, Cobb Vanth returning, and he was on Conan a few months back, and he had the same, hairstyle, and he's not mentioned in that leak, and he's a favorite character of mine. So I kind of hope that leak isn't true, but I kind of hope it is, because a lot of cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a fine line for me, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, like when you have when you end up with Boba going up again, like it would be weird if we see him go to Anchorhead, save Cammy and what's his name, Fixer, Cammy and Fixer. He goes there and saves them, and then they're like, oh, and that represents Boba Fett saving all of Tatooine, all of the little villages, save just two jackasses that used to know Luke Skywalker. So I have to think that over the course of the 7 episodes, there would be some more interaction. You know what I mean? Like with people like that. And so at some point, I'm hoping and guessing that he offers protection to Mos Pelgo. And what's his name? Probably won't like it, but also, Cobb Vanth probably won't like it, but at the same time, he's going to do what he has to do for his people, and understanding where he's at in the universe, he'll probably go with it until it becomes unjust, and then they will have a skirmish down the road. That's the
same thing that happened in chapter 9. Mando and Cobb Vanth are about to fight, and they come together for the greater good. It's kind of like history repeating itself. But I do think that Boba will offer protection, and they'll definitely meet. I hope so, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and if that stuff doesn't happen there, I'm sure it will happen somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if there's anything in the chat that I missed. Merry Christmas, Dez. How's it going, dude? Mark. Trando is gonna stick. Happy Festivus, James. Is it time for the Fets of Strength? And I hope to see you in a little bit later on if you're free. I'm hoping for the Gamorean card spinoff. What would it be called, you guys? What would a Gamorean guard spinoff be called? That's the question. That ship looks a bit Mon Cala. Yeah, it does also. It does kind of have all of those design elements that I saw. And it looks like it's skinned in a Mon Call like cruiser stuff, which could allude to it, being oh no, the hammerhead's not a fish guy. I was gonna say I keep remembering the hammerhead as a squid head. I don't know why. No. And I was like, oh, and the squid head people are from there too, but no, it's not a connection. Just my brain failing me. Star Wars Center. I don't know. It looks a bit Carillion, somewhat like the Falcon, but distinct. Yeah, it's pulling on so many different little design motifs that you could really, Thanks, Rick. People know that my name is Stryker, and I like that you added the YKER because that's how I would definitely spell it. So Mark says it's a large transport, way bigger than a freighter. So. The future version is Omega. Oh, you're saying that Sophie Thatcher's character will not become. And by the way, the character name that we've been using through this episode is the rumor name based off of. I shouldn't even say it's a rumor name. It was the casting call name from the Illuminati. And have to say, I was thinking back about code names. This is going back and forth. Would it be a code name and stuff like that? And I remembered having lots of paperwork from Solo: A Star Wars Story leaked to me, as well as the casting bits. And I was able to pretty much confirm, Dryden Voss is a character. Like Dryden Voss, they straight up cast Dryden Voss. There was no those new characters and stuff like that. They didn't have codes. And I think that the codes oftentimes come into major play when there's major secrecy about characters. So Book of Boba Fett could go that way. Like if you're having Bosk in the show, you're probably not going to really cast somebody to be Bosk. You're probably just going to use a stuntman. But let's pretend like Dengar is being played by Bob Hoskins or something like that, right? They might not want to say Dengar because people would know who it is, and then it would get out really quickly. So they may code it. So I feel like there's a fine line for the coding. I could be wrong, but I feel like for the coding system to go into play, it has to actually be it's worth it. And if there's not enough to like on Solo, a Star Wars story, they didn't code anything but Han and Chewie. After that, because it just wasn't worth it. So, and it was like, I can't remember what the code was, but it was super obvious what they were. It was like Curly was Chewie, and an original cowboy or something like that was Han. It was like they weren't even trying on that one. Yeah, Rick Jones says Joan Jett vibes. Yeah, definitely has that biker rock and roll thing, you know.
Best spins in the chat. I love that guy.
Yeah, Krub says, I think that's Sophie Thatcher, who's 21. Yeah, it is. That's Sophie Thatcher. Is that a Model Nodes patch on her denim jacket? Are you joking right now? Because I'm about to go in and try to see if I see it.
You nearly had it.
Let's see. It's like when you play in slow motion, it tends to give you like a really like low res version. Yeah, I can't tell. Inconclusive for me. Look at come on, YouTube. But yeah, but I dig the rock and roll look.
Yeah.
It's definitely Sophie Thatcher, like 100%, without a doubt. Hey, Merry Christmas, Bestman. Have a good Christmas with the kids tomorrow, man. I will, dude, and you too. I mean, with the kids that you know of. All right. Left Coast Graphics, Omega's niece. Yeah. I have to say, kind of in a weird way, if this plot is accurate that we've heard, kind of throws a lot of monkey wrenches in that Omega concept, doesn't it? In the future, or what the possibilities of it making sense could be. But I mean, at the same time, at this time, I mean, Omega is like in her 40s right now. So by the time, so there's just like that character's, the whole major part of that character's life is ready to be told, not even in this era, So what I am proposing is that if Omega is, Boba may not see her as a sister. At the end of the day, he just may not even see it that way. He might just see her as Omega is a clone of my dad. The end. There's a bunch of other clones, and that's all that it is. What do you think, James?
What's up? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you? Merry Christmas.
And the nerve of Disney to drop a trailer while all men are starting their Christmas shopping.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta say, the closer we get to the show, the least excited I am about it.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just, the most exciting thing about all the Disney shows to me at this point is what they can do with stagecraft and how far the technology. But in terms of the storyline, I'm not excited to hear about this. And I just realized my mic's not plugged in. I'm like, why are my headphones not working?
You actually, I could hear you fine though. But there has to be more to it. I mean, they're not selling what it really is. They're like selling 15 minutes of exposition, and to Star Wars fans, I think they know that we're gonna watch it no matter what, and we're gonna check it out to see if we hate it or not, or if we like it or not. And so yeah, I definitely, as a Star Wars fan, I am fucking tired of these TV spots. Of stuff. When new stuff comes, I'm happy. I'm like, yeah. But it's all that. It's the first 15 on everything, But I was thinking about this the other night, dude. And let me know what you guys think. Is this a good way to do it or not? Because when you see like if they showed us like a season trailer almost, right? And there were things that we were going to see in it that were super exciting in it, but it doesn't happen in the first episode. It doesn't happen in the second episode. It doesn't happen in the third episode. It happens in the fourth episode. Then you end up with somebody complaining on Twitter for 4 episodes that it was boring and not what they wanted to see. Like, do you end up with that? And does this get around that? Is that even an issue?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're a little weird market because we're going to watch no matter what. So they don't really have to market it to you and I.
Mm-hmm.
So the marketing aspect is a whole different animal. They just need to make a good show. I'll watch it. So if the trailer sucks but the show's good, I mean, hey, that's cool. But yeah, you'd hate to see something that's an actual good product and it goes unnoticed because of marketing. And I know there's mixed feelings on Solo with that. If it was just really poor timing, poor marketing on Solo, if it was just a bad movie.
True. Yeah, because I mean, I watched Solo again the other day. I felt like I kind of started to feel like I had a bad impression in my memory of it. And I was like, I'm going to put it on and watch it. And I watched it, and I actually rather enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Upon watching it again. And I was like, and I didn't dislike it when it came out or anything like that. But, when it came out, I was like super excited about it. And it takes some time for stuff to like sit and for you to go like, let me process this movie. And how do I really feel about it without any outside forces telling me what I think? And like that's how I feel about Mandalorian. Both season 1 and season 2 was just now am I like really like convinced I like it for what it's worth. I mean, I always liked it, but do I love it? Is it something I'm going to revisit always or not? And there are elements of it where I'm like, like the blue guy in the first episode, that does feel a little bit sci-fi channel at times. And it's, but when it comes back in the second season, it was a good use of a dopey character. And I was kind of like, I'm kind of like about it. So that's kind of the power of this stuff and of all the stuff being like cohesive. But what I also found was watching Solo: A Star Wars Story on the prospect that Kira's in this made me enjoy it better because I didn't feel like it was a dead end anymore. And that's actually like really, I think like something that maybe they're aware of, but that they actually need to be aware of if they're not, is that when it feels like it's a dead end, that there's nothing else to it, there's nothing else to dream about when you're watching it and to consider, the rewatch value just drops out.
Yeah,
it's done. It's just done.
When you get Emilia Clarke to play a character, it's kind of a waste to be one and done with her, especially if she's willing to come back.
Yes. Yeah. And she totally is. I mean, I don't mean like disrespect her or anything like that, but her Hollywood career, I don't think it went stellar, to be honest with you. Like her TV career has been what had Game of Thrones. It was pretty good, but like Terminator, her Terminator movie is, not the most well received, well remembered. Solo: A Star Wars Story didn't really make big box office. She alone doesn't generate box office at the end of the day. The Khaleesi was a beloved character, and she played that role, but she's not a box office draw. She's not
filming. She's filming the new Marvel show right now, so it'll be interesting to see her in Secret Invasion and potentially Boba Fett. But yeah, Disney obviously like her.
Yeah, if they used her in Solo and they're using her in a Marvel show, she didn't get on Disney's blacklist for Solo bombing out. They didn't blame her, Yeah. So, and then this is Mara Jade. I don't know.
Yeah, I got the Ruski. So
yeah, I mean, Luke Skywalker. He's like, I'm a Jedi. I'm a rock star. I date 22-year-olds now. Oh no, Luke is only like 25 at this time, right? Wouldn't Kira be 40 plus years old like Han? They'd have to age her up and Harrison down. Laugh out loud. Yeah, well, that's the thing, man. Like when you get down to it, like Amelia Clark, I mean, you just have her not act like just don't dress her like she's Audrey Hepburn. Don't give her the Audrey Hepburn hair that you gave her in Solo: A Star Wars Story. And yeah, she could play the age. She'll just look really good for her age, you know. But I mean, how old is Amelia Clark now? Let's look that up.
In her 40s, sure.
Is she that? Is she? I'm not sure. She's 35.
35.
She's 35. Yeah. So her playing a character 5 years older than what she is, not crazy, not out of the, not impossible. So yeah, I mean, classically, that's what they would have done. I mean, you know, classically, they if they're going to get like somebody who's supposed to play a mom in her 40s, they get like somebody in their mid 30s too, so that way they have longevity in the role, like on a sitcom and stuff like that. And so for what it's worth, I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's what they've done.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm gonna drop off for a second here and come back on because my mic's giving me problems here.
Okay, cool. But yeah. So I mean, it, like I said, this could just be a really, really cool, like I said, rock and roll chick who's in an episode, or it could be
a story.
Yeah, it could be a new main Star Wars character.
Jason, who do you think is the person behind her in the scooter there?
Is that the dude? Let's see, because I thought they made.
There's definitely someone behind her.
Yeah, let me see. Because, like I said, I heard that they made 3. I think there was blue, green, and red. I want to say, or was it yellow? Yeah, that might be that. That's probably what's his name. The other dude. I can't remember what his name was. I keep wanting to call it like Dratch or something, but I can't remember. Yeah, it's definitely the same kind of speeder though.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You got me thinking because it's
Oh, hold on. Let me turn you up, dude. You are really low now. Okay. Wait.
Nope.
Okay. Talk.
Can you hear me?
You are low. You're pretty low.
You know what? We're just gonna.
Yeah. Wait. Now we can't hear you at all.
Oh.
Now
Awesome.
we can't hear you at all now. Wow. I read Super John's thing as getting King Taco, and I was like, "You're cool, man. King Taco's good." I'm like, "Oh no, getting Toro Calican vibes. Kill her off." I don't know what that means, but kill her off. Bye. Yeah. I have to say, if this character is what has been rumored to be, this is simply a small phase. I mean, she's going to start off in this is her street clothes, and we will have her evolve into more of a Fennec Shan Boba Fett type, right?
Hopefully you can hear me now.
I can hear you great. I hear your chocolate voice.
Well,
It's like it's like a chocolate fountain right now in my ear holes.
My Lando voice. Yeah. D voice. You know, so they're bringing in obviously a lot of elements from Heir to the Empire. Would they create a character, Mara Jade type, that was at Jabba's palace that is somehow tied to Boba Fett and fill that role?
Yeah, that's. I mean, if we didn't have that one leak, I think that would be a really, really fair question. But those little space Vespas,
yeah.
I can't tell if they're just not really as tough as they like. Is the story that these guys are wannabes at this point, and they want to be like a swoop bike gang, but they're on space Vespas and they're really just kids that are in over their head? Like, is that kind of like where we're at, or are they from Naboo, for instance? Because and now they're dressing like tough gang members, but those little space Vespas do not tell me I kick ass and take names. But then again, neither did Dooku's, right?
He was 80.
Yeah. Dooku was on a rascal, right? That was kind of a Star Wars rascal.
Well, the good news is we're going to find out within the first 15 minutes, apparently. So.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm getting on Wild Boys vibes, like Peter Pan kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and in terms of the dialogue, Mark Hamilton was saying that it there's a direct nod to the awesome gritty UK movie Scum, where Ray Winstone's character famously said, "I'm the daddy now." That when Boba says, "I'm the crime lord now." So
nice.
Yeah. I haven't seen that though, but it's something for me to check out. I always like watching things I've never seen before based off of like Star Wars stuff. That's why I used to dig when they'd be like, "Oh, Sophie Thatcher is going to be in Book of Boba like officially," and then I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to check out one of her movies," and I'd see something I would never have watched otherwise, and you're like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." But yeah, when that report came out from the Illuminati, I remember seeing it, but it was just like, at the time we thought it was Mando season 3, and I'm like, well, you're not really taking it too seriously at that point. That the role was important, because if it's just another chapter in Mando, it's two good looking young people in Mando. There we go. Okay, it's like, who cares? But when you find out that it's for Book of Boba Fett and it's a new cast, and you're like, oh, okay, this needs to be taken more seriously, because we didn't know yet. We didn't know at the time that it was Book of Boba Fett. So yeah, Left Coast Graphics is putting their money on punk kids. You know,
more like the Avril Lavigne kind of punk kids than the Sex Pistols punk kids.
So you're saying mall punker?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Now you can tell a mall punk because they're just wearing superhero clothes, because that's what Hot Topic has become.
Me too.
I mean, Hot Topic always sucked, but boy, but now you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a comic book shop without the comic books. Weird. Yeah, but yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I am excited for the show. Honestly, I'm more excited by the prospect of this being a main character, and that there being new characters to explore, because my gripe off the bat right now is Boba and his plight are an interesting story to go through, but is a guy going, I'm the crime boss. I mean, that's I guess kind of interesting, but not really that interesting, is it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's very that feels one note. Fennec Shand and the relation to him feels very one note too. I do think that she's obviously like the consigliere, and what do they always do? They always betray you.
Yeah, I would see that coming.
If I was going to do a Boba Fett, first of all, it wouldn't be my first character to do as a TV show. And if I did, I would go more Chronicles of Riddick. I think a movie like Pitch Black with a Boba Fett character in there is more interesting. We'll see. I mean, I don't want to, judge the show before I see it, but it just, the premise sounds forced that he wants to become a crime boss.
Right.
If they wanted to do a show about a character who wanted to take over Jabba's empire, that's an interesting premise, but I just wouldn't use Boba Fett for that. I'd rather have my Boba Fett as a bounty hunter, not as a crime boss.
Yeah.
So why change the essence of who that character is so dramatically?
Well, I thought about this. I thought about this before, and I felt the same way. I was like, you know what? Like, why would you do? He's literally saying, "I'm not a bounty hunter" in the trailer, even.
Yeah.
And but the thing about it is that in that 1 or 2 episodes of Mandalorian where he goes out bounty hunting. Okay. Do I need more? Do I need to see more people getting brought to to Tatooine justice, kind of, I guess. I mean, there are definitely stories to be told and conflicts to get in, and like, it's the bounty hunting thing though ends up, in my opinion, being just as good of a catalyst for conflict as putting him in this position, except for now he does sort of in a way, in a universe where being a crime lord or a warlord is kind of like, now you made it. At what point does Boba Fett become a loser if he doesn't get promoted? I mean, he's in his 40s now. He's thinking about, maybe I want an offspring, but in all seriousness, I also would not be surprised if we see him back on his ass by the end of the story and back to bounty hunting, and we're like, that's just another day in the Star Wars universe. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they love playing in the original trilogy sandbox, and Fett was kind of a good way to do if you wanted to just do a one-off movie. Great character to do it with, and then you get your OT era stuff, and everybody's happy. Well, fans are happy. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's just because Timur Morse. I mean, too old, or what are they thinking? Like, they got to age the character up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we saw him doing the press stuff and some of the behind the scenes shit for it, and he beat the shit out of any 20-year-old I've ever met. Like, when you look at him now, he's like, he's ready to fucking
big boy.
Yeah, he'll fuck you up. I wanted to hit on what Bespin said really quickly. Random, but Thatcher usually has blonde hair. She dyed it to this color weeks before filming on Fett and went back blonde in April. Maybe tells us how much we'll see of her. And so that is a really I think good detail to pull out. And according to the elite, he picks her up, brings her into the fold, but they don't. The leak didn't really elaborate and say just that he kind of she grows. They warm up to each other, and by the end she gets kidnapped. So at the end of the day, it sounds like what it really would amount to, based off of the leak only, that it would amount to 2 real episodes worth of work. You know what I mean? And I feel like they usually do about the live action filming is usually about around an episode, a little more than an episode a month is usually what it feels like they do. Maybe 1.5 feels like a good average. But Robert Rodriguez, they also said he shot super fast, and based off of that one clip we saw, they just shot one thing once and moved on.
And all right, one take, done.
Yeah.
I don't watch Star Wars for the great acting. If I want to watch, Scorsese film, or but it doesn't bother me that it's, oh my God, the acting is, watch A New Hope. It's not the best acting movie ever.
No, you do with Star Wars, you end up falling into oh, this is what it is. But I said the acting in the prequels didn't bother me, because I was it always felt like it was more plot to me. There was this, it was always this plot heavy, and I went in expecting as much, and then it didn't bother me, and I thought, this isn't really that inconsistent, to be honest with you. I could clearly see that the acting wasn't stellar, but now Disney Star Wars has not ruined the prequel trilogy for me at all, but has actually hurt it in the sense that now when I watch it, the acting being so wooden is way more apparent than it ever was. It's harder to ignore. I can't ignore it now, whereas I used to be able to. That's what's strange.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine who's more of a casual he's a Star Wars fan, but not like us. He's he watches Star Wars. He watches Star Wars.
He's sane. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And I tried to explain to him the difference because we watched. I had a ton of people run out half a theater for Force Awakens, and I was the only one that walked out very angry. And we had a conversation afterwards, and he was like, what are you talking about? And I showed him here's the trailer for Force Awakens, and everybody's all Rey's crying and Poe's they're emoting heavily. like watch any clip from any part of any of the previous 6 movies, and you don't get this kind of shit in there. It's completely out of tone from the other 6 movies. Now you can say, well, it's better acting, but that's like saying, you throw Yngwie on a Green Day album and say, well, the guitar playing is so much better. It doesn't sound like fucking Green Day anymore. What the hell is this?
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make it better because you have the acting chops down. It's and I remember Stephen King talking about that back in the prequel era. He was like, what the hell do people want? These are popcorn flicks. He's like, they want true fun, and they're getting this, just a Saturday matinee flick, and everybody's bitching about it. And it's like, yeah, I don't understand why people get so upset about things that, it's in the tone, it's in the style of what it is. And if you don't like that tone style, that's fine if it's not your cup of tea. But then when you get something different, you're like, oh, that's way better. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna send. I planned on doing two shows today, but because I wanted to hang out with Johnny, but I think Johnny just said he'll be there soon, so I'm gonna send Johnny the link right now. And if you guys are down to hang out, we'll just keep on going.
Yeah, it's false advertising. He messaged me yesterday. He's like, "Hey, we're going to be on the show together tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Like, where's Johnny?
Sorry, man. It's just me.
we got Chris, and he's from the future.
Can he shred on guitar though? That's the question.
Can't. No, unfortunately not.
Yeah. Well, you could have said yes. We wouldn't have known.
he
nobody lies in the internet.
He takes beer glasses, he takes a drink, and he gets them into different pitches, and then he takes a fork, and then he just kind of jams out on it. Yeah.
Pretty much.
He's awesome in the theremin.
Yeah, man. I do have to say, I am a little bit bummed that they're not doing that they didn't release this for Christmas, that it didn't come out like already. Because like I have like a bunch of family over for our Christmas, even though we're all gonna get COVID and we're gonna die from it. Like, well, let's just do it. We're all vaccinated now, so I'm triple vaxxed. Let's do it, and let's see what happens. But I'm like, it would be nice to be able to watch that with the family. You know what I mean? Like on Christmas. I gotta say that's my only like little bitch about the whole thing right now. Is
it's an awkward release date. It's like in between Christmas and New Year's, so we just release at Christmas and we can all watch it together. But
yeah,
release date for me, I don't understand it.
Maybe we'll get a Festivus miracle here, and they'll drop it early.
Yeah, Rob messaged me and he said I'm watching The Matrix. I didn't get to respond to him, but he saw if you want to do an episode where we air our grievances. I was like, we might. Did you watch it yet, James? Did you get a chance?
Yeah, my girlfriend's trying to intercede here because I explained to her that the podcast ran long yesterday because Jason just needed to get something off of his chest.
Mm-hmm.
He just needed to work some things out, and I was here for it. So we watched it last night.
It was amazing.
She liked it?
High expectations.
Did you hear this? Nonsense? Our expectations are high. She's like, why does the movie have to be good? Why can't you just... Do you want to be on the show?
Yeah, come on the show. Come on the show.
Let's show, yeah.
Oh God.
It's totally fair. You can yell at me. I'm used to ladies yelling at me.
Yeah, I got the Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets over here right now. Yeah, I mean, no. So yeah, it was a movie. I can confirm that it was a movie.
It was released as a movie. Wait, so did she like it or did she not like it?
She liked it.
Okay, good. No, I'm glad. I'm maybe it was just me.
All the movies.
It was a necessary story. To me, it's kind of the epitome of what's wrong with the prequels. It's that, it's a story that doesn't need to be told. It's completely unnecessary, and it's just tacking some extra stuff on there. And the funny thing is, they make fun of sequels that are tacking extra things on. And doing exactly what they did. And it's like, do you realize you're making fun of yourselves right now? Yeah, it was a weird play. I mean, it wasn't Rise of Skywalker bad for me. But yeah, the
really
and the fight sequences are completely They were boring, bland. There's nothing spectacular about it. When the bodies started flying out the windows in San Francisco, I just found that hilarious. And I was like, is this a thing? Yeah. So yeah, it was a story. It was a movie.
Yeah.
It's not out here in Australia yet.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're in the future, but we're really in the past, if that makes sense.
You need a VPN, man. And if they still, get a VPN. Yeah, if your account's blocked somehow, you can just log into mine. And
I appreciate that, but after what James is saying, I don't really want to watch it, to be honest.
Yeah. No,
2 hours.
Yeah. I'm interested to hear if Rob liked it, because Rob, I think Rob walks this line with Batman, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, where he's like, yeah, but Schumacher apologized. And I'm like, no, unforgivable. That's what I said. But
I wanted to be a fly on the wall for those meetings.
Yeah, right. But yeah, well, I'm glad that she liked it, that someone got joy out of it.
Damn.
Yeah, I shit on pretty much anything she likes, so it's a good relationship. She likes it and I hate it, and that's how it works.
Yeah. Tomato.
As long as someone's happy, right?
Right. Well, she has to listen to me bitch, and then she's not happy. So
So Luke says that Sophie girl that's playing Skad is an actual New York punk girl that some of my friends are homies with. Gonna be super weird seeing her in this. Oh, that's cool. So what is she? What is she? Is she in a band? Because I looked her up one time and I saw that she was in like I think she played like Reagan in the Exorcist series or something like that. And I was like, well, that probably means that she could get pretty crazy, Let me see. I'm gonna look up the Sophie Thatcher Wikipedia. Sophie, whoa, that's a middle name right there. How do you even say that? Bathsheba? Sophie Bathsheba Thatcher. I would go by Bathsheba. That's fucking badass sounding.
that's a cool band. Yeah.
That's a Star Wars character. I am Bathsheba. Is an American actress who made her feature film debut in 2018's American science fiction film Prospect. Thatcher's work on stage includes productions of Oliver, something called Sasuical, The Diary of Anne Frank, and The Secret Garden. So, yeah, film was Prospect and The Tomorrow Man. Didn't see those. Exorcist, Young Reagan, 2 episodes. Chicago PD, Yellow Jackets, and then the Book of Boba Fett is listed as 2021 to present.
She can fill the footsteps of Linda Blair. That's a crowning achievement. Okay.
Yeah, right.
James, was someone calling your background, or was I seeing things? Because it's like 5 a.m. I don't know if I'm tripping out.
Yeah, that would be my girlfriend trying to avoid being on camera by being extroverted, falling on the floor.
I didn't know if it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I could have just stood up then.
Well, yeah, you should just stood
No,
up.
I
So.
don't want to be seen on camera.
Weird show, I know what's going on.
That's funny.
Abilities and all that nonsense.
Good test.
Yeah. So is she looking forward to a Book of Boba, or is she like just more James bullshit?
Yeah, no, she's not a Star. Well, she will not admit that she does like some Star Wars stuff. So, like, she'll ask me questions about it, but you know, she's anime. She's into the One Piece and Naruto and all that.
All right,
Japanese stuff.
So does she ever do the run? With the arms back.
Yeah. Naruto run. Yeah.
Yeah.
She eats ramen a lot, so it's.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had an anime phase where well, I was really into in the 90s into Ranma 1/2, which is like the anime I like the most still. But they were always eating pork buns in that show, and then it turned out that the place near my house had them. So I was just always eating pork buns and watching anime, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a life for me. But then I went on to go and buy a bunch of Star Wars action figures and spend thousands of dollars on it like a freaking idiot. So I clearly wasn't thinking everything else through. Yeah.
Well, at least you're not investing in NFTs, so you know.
Yeah. Right. I'm gonna screenshot Chris right now and sell it as an NFT called "Waiting for Boba." With that right there, with that little face right there, like the waiting for Boba. Oh, gotta turn the hat sideways.
Yeah, well, everyone else is wearing a hat. I thought I'd join the party, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you got great hair, dude. I mean, we're all.
Come on.
Yeah, we're all like.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all gonna be like the Blue Man Group.
I'm just trying to fit in, right? I'm just trying to fit in.
Yeah. But I'm guessing that our buddy Johnny meant he'll see us later and not like he's coming right now. Yeah, I'm just guessing because you know, he didn't respond to that and he didn't come on. So
James, tell me why aren't you like looking forward to Boba? Because like I personally wish we would see a bit more in the trailers, and I'm kind of tired. Like Jason, we're tired of the same footage all the time. Like, where do you stand on all that, mate?
I just the premise of Boba Fett becoming a crime lord doesn't entice me. If that's the pitch, and that's basically the premise of the show, Boba Fett trying to follow, you know, take over in the footsteps of the power vacuum from Jabba.
Yeah,
I want to see a Boba Fett going out and, you know, doing the bounty thing and kicking ass, and you know, him as the Godfather. I would love to see a Godfather in space show, and I would love to see like Star Wars Underworld was going to deal with a lot of that, or if they dealt with like the Hutt crime syndicate families and they did it, you know, like, you know, Gangs of New York style or something like that, you know, with, you know, that would be an interesting premise, but that would be a much more epic show, and it's probably, you know, budgetary wise not possible. So I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just not a very interesting premise of, you know, Boba Fett trying to take Jabba's place.
How about
a weird flex of the character?
But how about all these different types of, you know, bounty hunters trying to take him down, and he's just like, you know, fending them all off, and, you know, I think that's pretty cool. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, I'd rather see like a Dark Knight kind of Boba Fett movie where, you know, he's more of the Batman type going out and doing his thing. Because obviously, you know, the dude is smart enough to know, you know, when the Falcon gets lost and it goes off the scopes, he's the only one that puts two and two together and says, I know what this guy did. And you got all these other bounty hunters there. They don't, you know what the hell's going on. Darth Vader doesn't know what the hell's going on. The Imperial officers don't know, but this guy's outsmarting everybody. So he's obviously got you know, some brains behind him, and he's not just a killing machine. So show him as a, you know, a Batman type where he's, you know, using his intellect to kind of figure things out, put things together, and not to show him that he's a gunslinger, but that he's the best bounty hunter in the galaxy because he can outwit you and outsmart you.
We haven't really seen much of that, have we?
Yeah. No. I'm kind of thinking that what we're gonna have though is that Boba ends up realizing that he is a hands-on guy, and then in being a hands-on guy, not much changes for him in a weird way. Like that may be the eventuality of this, is that when somebody talks shit on him, he doesn't send IG-88. He goes and punches him in the face himself, and it's like in a weird way, it's a different dynamic. But hey, Johnny.
Well.
So over here on the left, we got the no hairs, and on the right, we got the good hairs.
It's like shirts and skins here. You know?
Yeah. I think they would probably beat us in basketball too. Honestly, I don't think anything's gonna work out for us, James. I don't know unless you're really good.
I'm like Prince on Dave Chappelle, you know.
But I could do a pretty good shirtless Gamorean. I if we were skins,
Nice.
I could definitely rock that. Gamorean dad bod is what I'm gonna call it. But yeah. So how's it going, Mr. Johnny?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yes.
How much
Sorry.
do you guys hate the Matrix?
What was that? Oh, the Matrix. Yeah. I'm gonna message Rob in a bit when he gets up, and a little bit later today, if Rob isn't busy, which he may be busy at being Christmas Eve, and at one point I will be busy too. But if not, I might get on with Rob and talk about the Matrix. And if anybody wants to jump on and talk about the Matrix, you guys are more than welcome if we do it. I'm not sure if we are. We will do it at some point though. If we don't do it tonight.
Have you seen the Clerks animated spoof of the Matrix?
Me?
From Clerks?
Yeah, the Clerks animated show when they do the spoof of the Matrix, and Dante keeps getting the calls from Morpheus.
No, I
hear a flashback of that. Like, no, we don't. We can talk about anything. We can talk about sports. We can talk about girls or the Matrix.
Yeah, I haven't watched that since it came out. I've totally forgotten most of that. Yeah.
Can I make a request from Johnny?
Yeah,
Since
what?
I see the keyboard next to him, can we get a little sad piano to go along with the show here?
No.
No.
No, honestly, I never play an instrument without warming up.
Yeah.
Warm up before, guitar, anything. Yeah.
I feel like sad piano is a warm up.
Johnny's quote should just be "fuck you, pay me,"
which is also a great Star Wars name.
Yeah, that's I believe that's one of Padme's handmaidens. Fuck you, pay me. We got Rabbe, Sabe, Irrite, fuck you, pay me, and yeah.
So James, you're not too interested in Book of Boba Fett?
Like I said, the premise doesn't I'm excited about Andor. That's the only one that really Acolyte I think is interesting, but Andor is the one that the premise of that show is like, okay, that's something that I'd like to see. The premise of Book of Boba the thing I look forward to the most is seeing how far they can push stagecraft and how far they can get with the technology. So I am looking forward to that, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. I mean, I'm setting my bar pretty low, so if I hate it, it's because it's terrible.
Yeah, I think on the side note, I think Andor used minimal stagecraft work as far as what it sounds like, and like I saw a lot of sets from it, and quite a bit of practical real environments in that one, and I'm curious if it's going to pay off, like if at the end of the day, does the Disney Plus crowd who watches Star Wars, do they even notice, is it felt, and do we care or not? Like there were people on those behind the scenes things for Boba that were like, oh my god, like, oh, that looks great. It's like, oh, that's actually the stagecraft thing, because it looks even pretty real in that environment.
Yeah. For me, I don't know why the show has to be tied to Andor. That kind of ruins it for me. I think that just a kind of a rebellion show would have been a little better.
Yeah.
Andor, I think may actually kind of be that in the end. No. It may be that in Cassian clothing, because it's going to have, like, all of these shows, and that's what my opinion anyways, is they all act like they are about one man right now. Right now, that's what they all do. This is Boba Fett. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is Cassian. And at least, but shows don't really work that way. You know what I mean? As we know. And like Kenobi, he has a cast too. And so we have like all these characters that it pulls that on. But with Cassian, what do you pull out on two different things? I think in the end, it's the intelligence community in Star Wars, and then the Rebel Alliance that he works for. So, and it may also, on another note, be the pathway to that, because if they start introducing all of these Rebel characters that are mainstays and that are having
Yeah,
Like,
I just don't want it to stick just on Andor because I'm interested in the Rebel intelligence gathering and whatnot. The Bothans. I want to see a Bothan, hopefully. But yeah,
I just want him to bark the whole time. Like, hello, my name is Cassian Andor. I have been spying for the Rebel Alliance since I was 6 years old. And they're like, woof! You're like, what the fuck
what
is
accent
this
is
show?
that, Jason? That's like the Princess Bride accent.
Yeah, right? you, you killed my father, not for that to die.
Well, they did confirm that the Bothans aren't necessarily the EU Bothans, because Pablo Hidalgo once at one point addressed that. They're like, well, we've never seen a Bothan. They might just be human, just the same way Corellians and Alderaanians are human, and Bothans might just be some dudes.
I would not be upset if they weren't dogmen. I'm not a huge fan of the dogmen. Love dogs.
Did they look like dogs? I'm just thinking back to like Star Wars Battlefront. Like, do they look like dogs? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. My biggest interaction with them was that they were added as a race nobody played in Star Wars Galaxies because nobody wants to be a dogman.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm pissed off that I missed that whole thing.
Yeah. I believe they were added in the hyperspace expansion pack, maybe. And they were obviously in Star Wars comics and stuff like that before, but not a very inspired design in my opinion. So
no,
I mean, if anybody can make a dogman look cool, though, it is Star Wars. So we'll have to see. Because they also moved away when they in the original version of Solo, a Star Wars story, when Dryden Voss was played by that dude from The Wire who recently passed. Unfortunately, he was like a cat man, and then they were like, what the fuck are we doing? And they pulled the Catman idea back. So it would be kind of weird if they pulled the Catman idea out because it's kind of a bad one, and kept the kept the Dogman idea. But I do think that we would eventually get into the Bothan stuff at some point. But they also have an out in the sense that the Bothans spy on the second Death Star, not the first one, and bring that information to them. So, but you could definitely introduce them as part of the network in that thing, and that would be the place to do it, right? I mean, if you were ever going to do it, when you're doing a spy thriller about that stuff, that's kind of the time.
I assume that because Rogue One is so popular with the fan base and generally considered the best of the Disney Star Wars movies, best of the Disney Star Wars era in general, that they would want to do a similar movie with the Bothans getting the information on the second Death Star, because that's just
it'll be big with the furries.
we start at Celebration. Hey guys, I gotta go. Where are you going, Chris? Oh, it's the furry meetup. Chris, no. No, I'm kidding, Chris. If you're a furry, it's cool, dude.
Hey,
No.
between me and you don't have to tell the whole world about
Hey,
that.
I'm not here to kink shame.
Chris, do you have any chalky milk on hand?
Oh no.
I got this though. If you're interested.
Nice.
Great.
Whenever I drink my water, I have my little hand.
That's his real pinky.
Oh,
This is actually what the Bothans are. Almost human in every way, but they have a second little hand on their pinky.
nice.
It was Pablo Hidalgo's idea.
Yeah.
You're really thinking outside the box now. But hey, James.
Do you think we'll ever see Jackson in live action? I love that character.
I do.
You do?
He did make it into Clone Wars as a dead skeleton.
Yeah, his bones. The bones of Jackson. Yeah.
He's in a comic, a recent comic, so I'm thinking maybe there's a chance, maybe not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, people love the bunny person that was in the Star Wars Visions.
Visions, yeah.
Yeah, people were kind of all about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do something where they up design that a bit and make it work. I'm more about a crazy walking bunny, surprisingly, than I am about a cat or a dog. His name is I don't know why we're talking about Star Wars animals today, but we are. Mark Hamilton says they're super secret about anything to do with Bothans. I think that's deliberate so that they could do exactly what James is talking about at some point, essentially a Rogue 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to, you do have to kind of use them if you ever wanted to go back to that well, you know?
Mm-hmm. And they're never going to do a major project like Rogue One with a lead as an alien character.
No.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive and too hard to do. So Bothans, if they need to be human for the movie, then they're going to be human.
Yeah, I can't project myself into like a dog character.
Yeah, you're like this is our fourth Rex or third Rex.
There was a dude in the X-Wing novels getting it out with the Bothan. There's like dating a Bothan. There's like a human Bothan relationship thing in there.
Yeah.
Really about that doggy style.
I mean, well, it's one of the weird things. It's like a friend of mine. He had like a hot sister, but she looked too much like him. So it's like, no, it wasn't cool. So like if I saw a Bothan, I'd be like, I've got a Siberian Husky that looks way too much like. It's like, no, it's too creepy and weird now.
Wait, what does this mean? Ahsoka Tano is a step.
Ahsoka Tano is not a step to dog people being the lead in Star Wars. She has a human face.
But dogs have tails, and she has two tails. Think about it, man. Slippery slope. Next thing you know, people can marry their dogs. Remember that argument? God, I hate that. Not you, Hawk. Luke Jones says, I don't think she's in a band, but she hung with all the crusty punks in New York. Oh, okay. So she's, yeah. I mean, yeah, she could pull it off. She pulls it. I'm not gonna lie. It does take a special person to pull off the jean equivalent of the sleeveless jean jacket and not just look like a high school pot dealer. I mean, that's how if you're not pulling it off, you're selling dirt weed at the high school. You know,
like Nelson Monk, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. God, I just remembered. Remember the other day, or in the past, I've talked about how I worked at the Star Wars store at the mall.
Yeah.
At the kiosk, and we did a Star Wars store heist even. Well, that was right across from Foot Locker, right? Also, the Foot Locker I mentioned, where I got to play the first Nintendo a little bit early, actually, because the guy who was a general manager at that Foot Locker and got to go to all of these expos and stuff, got a Nintendo early from there. And I was like, this is amazing. But anyways, same, that Foot Locker is why Tupac got shot.
What?
Not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. There was a kid related to gangs. I don't know if he was in gangs, but his family members were out in Compton, because I live right near Compton, by the way. And basically, somebody got into an altercation at the Foot Locker. Somebody snatched a chain, and the chain was what Suge Knight would give to like his top dudes, like the special chain, right? So when Tupac's in Vegas, he hears about that shit and he goes to avenge the chain and he gets shot. The altercation leads to him getting shot later on that night. So
Tupac and Phantom Menace.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of crime going down right there at the Lakewood Mall. Star Wars store heist and Tupac getting shot catalyst. There's going to be a book about like this rap war someday, and it's going to be called Catalyst, not the Rogue One book, but it's going to be about that. And I'm going to be like the Ponda Baba appearance in Rogue One, where I'm just at the Star Wars store. No, actually, that was like 2 years later when I was at the Star Wars store. But yeah, don't steal anybody's chain, James. That's why I brought it up. Because
James always puts me as a chain stealer,
Yeah, he looks like he just snatch it off of you and be like, I'm not excited about this Boba Fett show.
I don't steal, I permanently borrow. Very subtle difference.
James, did you have a guitar on the podcast yesterday? Did I see?
I did. I had my Eddie Van Halen Wolfgang made an
nice.
appearance yesterday. Yeah, my favorite guitar by far.
Nice.
It's the smaller scale neck, so
You have
perfect.
small
match.
hands.
I don't have the alien finger that Paul Gilbert that he's
Yes.
around like 5 times. So yeah, it's nice. But we do you and I, because I know you mentioned the other day, we use the same picks.
Jazz 3s, nice, man.
Do you use the Eric Johnson Jazz 3? So
No, I use I have so many different Jazz 3s. The Jazz 3s I have are 1.14 millimeter, and they're the Tortex.
see, I use the
Mine's
Eric
bigger.
Johnson.
Mine's bigger.
But yesterday when I was doing some practicing, I was using a different pick, a little bit of a larger pick, a Dunlop Flow pick. So if you can see a little bit of a size difference there.
Oh wait, I think we might be the same size. No, I'm kidding.
I don't think so.
This guy, I don't think so.
I just got really tiny hands. That's why.
That's a nice neck, Jason.
It is. I'm a fan of it.
Is it like something like a balsa or something, or is it just like a nice rosewood?
I don't even know, man. Honestly,
because it looks like a little like zebra woody, which is nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I just played this guitar and I was like, that's cool. I like how it feels.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, because I used to play a Brian May guitar. That was like the nicest guitar I ever had. I owned 2 of them for a while, and super nice, but also super expensive to like upkeep. Like that, you had to like really get it set up very often. I felt like to really like keep it going, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. And but it had a really, really big neck because Brian May is a giant man. He's a giant person. And yeah, so but I'm used to playing Martin acoustic guitars, and this feels like a Martin neck to me, but it's not clunky. But yeah, so I'll keep it on Star Wars. All I know. There we go.
Nice.
I did it. Yeah. So we were unnecessarily hard, mean, and we ganged up on Johnny yesterday, and it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. I didn't know. I did not mean to depict anything as if Johnny was the avatar for all 80s kids who could play guitar better than Jason. For the record, 90s kids, I should say.
Oh my god! Now I'm just a big baby. It's true. It is true. No, I'm upset I missed that conversation. It was good shit.
Yeah. No, but my like, I guess, like takeaway from it was that it, like, back then it was detrimental in the sense that people would say you should be able to shred. You should be a little Beethoven who plays guitar. And then you have the opposite side of it was like, I just need 3 chords and passion, man. And it's like, but like today, in 2022, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, because there is no dominant music genre anymore. It's all dead. We're completely postmodern. Record labels really don't even need to exist. And artists can essentially do whatever they want. And like, nobody needs to get pigeonholed. That's what I was really into before Poppy and Titanic Sinclair broke up. They were trying to push this idea of a genre called or post genre was the idea that they were trying to do, where you would go be fucking metal 1 second and going into a Beach Boys bridge. I was all about it. Then they broke up, and then it's not really happening now. Her stuff is just straight up like alternative now, and a little bit more boring, honestly. I'm a little upset that they couldn't get past the bullshit, but yeah, but I do think that like it is completely a different like landscape for that kind of stuff. And I honestly wouldn't mind if, as we get more into like these like Star Wars TV shows and stuff like that, I wouldn't be mad if they started using different kinds of instrumentation and stuff. Like, I kind of like how Mando was doing that. Yeah, Mando kind of puts its toe in there. Right, and he's doing Book of Boba, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
The music's pretty good for Boba. Yeah, I'm liking it.
It sounded a little more techno-y, didn't it? What we were hearing was a little bit more. I think electronic. I heard some. What is it called?
No, just electronic. Like synthy, like whoa, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Probably all stuff in what do you call it, in Logic Pro. It sounded. I think it sounded like one of the synths I messed with in there.
Yeah, straight off a MIDI roll. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, TV budget versus film budget. You're not going to have full illustration and whatnot going on usually for the TV shows. Although I've been impressed with the Marvel shows. I got done watching Hawkeye, and the score is minimal in a lot of the TV shows, but it's good.
Did you enjoy Hawkeye?
What's that?
Did you enjoy Hawkeye?
Yeah. You know, and honestly, that's the other thing that's really kind of upsetting is that I feel like Marvel is kind of kicking Star Wars' ass.
It is.
TV.
It is. It makes me sad.
I'm not a huge Marvel fan. Certainly not like I am with Star Wars, but WandaVision was like I was surprised that Disney was bold enough to do something that kind of weird. Like, I imagine that pitch meeting, like, okay, episode 1, it's a 50s sitcom in black and white. Like, wait, are you in the right fucking room? This is Marvel we're doing. Yeah, no, trust me, hear me out. If you did something like that for Star Wars, it was like that weird and crazy, I'm pretty sure they would be like, nah. And I'm sure the fans would hate it too. And I mean, they're in a weird position where anytime they try to stray outside the box, the fans go, well, this isn't Star Wars. This isn't my Star Wars. And so it's like we're like a feedback loop.
The thing about Marvel right now is that
sorry,
Chris.
Okay.
No, the thing about Marvel is that I feel compelled to watch the shows because I think what they're doing production-wise and lining stories up for more than a decade and everything paying off is interesting. Even if I'm not invested in the characters, that aspect of it, I feel like I need to watch the stuff. And for me, like even Spider-Man, bringing all 3 of those guys in, like campy, cheesy, whatever, but that's comic book shit, man. And they did it on screen. They brought it right to the screen, and that's cool stuff. I think it's cool, and I would love if Star Wars was just like, fuck the fans for a couple years and just let people go wild.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, James, that you're saying that Marvel's kicking Star Wars ass, but they've had 4 shows this year, and we're still on 2. Yeah, we're on Mando season 1 and 2, and we're about to enter our 3rd show. But
I would throw Bad Batch in there too. I mean, I know it's animated, but still.
Yeah.
How about Loki? Did you like Loki, James?
Yeah.
I actually love that.
They're getting kind of weird in the TV shows, and I like that.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, this is like where the hell
quality though. It's quality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm all about, like, you don't want to go Spider-Man 3 weird, or jazz cabaret number in the middle of the movie, but they need to do something where they, and I want to see, and I guess Marvel really is kind of guilty of this too, though. I'd like to see them kind of develop a full premise on a show that isn't riding coattails from something that came before. So something that's completely manufactured by Disney, that, hey, we came up with this character, this premise, I mean, it goes, so you can get to that as a sequel trilogy. So it would be nice to say, hey, there's a completely new character, completely new era, or completely new something, where they're not just banking off of, hey, you remember Ahsoka. Now she's got her own show.
It is there, but we hate it. It's there, but we hate it, and it's called the High Republic.
I hope not, though. I hope not in the end, right? Like it might get better. Oh, but before I forget,
I want to love it.
Merry Christmas to RF Gaming Channel and your brother. Tell him we said Merry Christmas. Yeah. Oh, and Max just texted me, and all of the kiddies are vaxxed. So good job. Even Uncle Meep, who was an asshole about the whole thing. I knew that guy was anti-vax. Remember I told you guys he was an anti-vaxxer? It turns out he was kind of a dick about it. But Uncle Meep, he hissed, and they're like, whoa, we're gonna have to see Uncle Meep later.
Yeah, he's always trying to tell people about Ben Shapiro's latest podcast.
but he did. And what's his name? Mark McHamill. Mark. I said Mark McHamill. He said that's called Ween. Remember Ween? Push the little daisies and make him come up. Yeah. Mark, the Bothans were kind of dicks in the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Borsk Fela, is that how you say it? I don't know. That's how I say it. Was always shitting on someone's parade. So you're saying Borsk was full of dog shit. Dog shit and Borsk go hand in hand. It's thematically sound. I mean, I would say anyway.
How do you feel about the whole Thrawn trilogy in the general? Because to me, I think it gets a pass mostly because it was kind of done in a vacuum. But there's way more goofy shit in there than there is quality.
Yeah, I think it gets to kind of coast. I shouldn't say coast. I think it had a very tremendously difficult job. It had the same job that like the sequel trilogy people had to do. What the fuck do we do after Return of the Jedi? Like it did a lot of heavy lifting, and what it did on that front actually wasn't lazy, and it wasn't awful or wasn't bad. But at the end of the day, it is 3 books. It doesn't really fit into any kind of live action structure whatsoever that is very coherent. Anyway, if you were to try to shoehorn it into it, in my opinion. So I don't really, I see it as at most things to pull off of, which they're doing, Thrawn, stuff like that, interesting ideas from it. But I in 2022 now that we're pretty much there, I don't think it's good. I think it's very good for the time. I respect it for the time, but even then I wasn't like, I wish this, there were a lot of people back then who would say, I wish this was a Star Wars movie. And I was a little bit like, I want kind of more from my Star Wars movie.
Basically had the job of just keeping Star Wars alive, right? There was nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they found out quickly because, and I think, that was around the time that I was with them. What amazed me throughout like the whole early to mid 90s up to, when the special editions were released is how much everybody kind of underestimated the popularity of Star Wars. Because Bantam got the contract and didn't think anything of it. And then Heir to the Empire goes straight #1 bestseller. So no one thought there was a demand for it like there was. They had all just kind of written it off. Toys R Us told West End that Star Wars is a dead license, so we don't want your products in our stores. Even the special editions. I remember talking to Steve Sansweet when they were first announcing the special editions. At that point, it was going to be a limited edition release and select theaters only. Because I remember this one cat sitting next to me. He's like, he was like from Kansas City or something. He's like, well, there's no major cities next to me. And Sansweet just looked at him and said, road trip. If you want to see it, you're going to have to drive. And they didn't think it was going to be, and it was the biggest, highest grossing January release, right? When New Hope came out of all time. And then nobody saw from it.
It was pretty funny. They showed, excuse me, they showed A New Hope at the Star Wars Special Edition at the Big Lakewood Theater where I'm at, right? Where Tupac's, the whole chain incident happened, by the way. It got Tupac shot, in case anybody's wondering. That got Tupac shot. Okay. And I'm not going to forget that. But for some reason, the theater was like burnt out on Star Wars by that point. And Return of the Jedi, they put down the street in the cheap theater. But so like nobody was there to see it. Like the opening morning for it, nobody was there but like me and my friend. And the guy was delivering boxes of action figures of Luke Jedis. And there was like nobody there. And he's like, hey, and he just gives us a bunch. And like I sold them for hundreds of dollars, like over like the next couple of months. I just kept selling them and paid for our band studio and stuff at the time. And but the guy's he's like, yeah, you guys are really big Star Wars. He's like, me too. He's like, I'm really excited. He's like, and it was a dude from Fox. And he's like, yeah, he's like, we just signed Ewan McGregor and he's gonna be Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I was just like, what? He's like, yeah, don't say anything. And I'm like, this is like, I was barely even on the internet yet, like in 1997,
Dude,
at
you've
the
been
time.
scooping for years, man.
Yeah, Jason actually stayed in that exact same spot until he saw Ewan McGregor a couple months ago.
And then Ewan just drove up and was like, yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. That was so bizarre. some like I think back on that. I'm like, if I did, I feel almost feel like it didn't happen. It's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That like you McGregor
First scoop ever. Like,
you McGregor pulls up
97,
though
98, yeah.
in an old timey car in El Segundo. What the fuck, you know? And then I saw what I think was Frank Oz in the same car.
You telling me that?
Yeah, wild.
Speaking of Heir to the Empire, I actually have a signed copy of that fucking book.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I got it at a bookstore for like $2.
Nice.
But did you just buy it and you opened it happened to be signed, or was
it was
like
signed? And I was like, oh my god, how much is this? He's like, I would never make somebody pay for a scribble or something. I was like, all right, cool, but
all right, yeah.
Nice.
Punk rock, man. Thanks. Yeah. Have you did you read it?
Some of it.
Some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I find it like interesting because like I want to say I was maybe 8 years old or 9 years old when it came out. And it was maybe like the first like adult book. That sounds bad, but you know what I mean? Like adult book that I ever read that wasn't like, didn't have pictures in it. And I just wanted more Star Wars. And I was just like, oh man, this is amazing that there's more Star Wars for me. And but what year were you born again?
95.
95. So yeah, you were born like way after it. And so your experience with Star Wars is like stuff exists. Hey, it's a puppy dog. Was that a Bothan?
Could be.
I think I saw a Bothan back there.
I could go down to
Look at spying. The Bothan spying back there.
I don't think he's too happy right now. He's got his pajamas on.
Yeah, he's like, I'm undercover. I'm playing a sleeping dog. No. Anyways, though, yeah, no, like, if you don't mind, I mean, I'm kind of just like curious about Johnny about like your. It's fine that it didn't work for you because it doesn't really work for me either. But it's like, what's it like looking at that coming from Star Wars from the angle that you have, where you've had a slew of films and all that jazz? Was it just like, did it just feel outside of the whole thing to you?
It was confusing because I used to go to like bookstores and there would be like all these Star Wars books. I'm like, what is any of this? It's all completely different. They had cool cover art, but like none of them seemed to have anything to do with the movies. And there are all these random stories, and it's kind of a bizarre thing.
Yeah.
I always really liked the video games, Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast, Dark Forces, that kind of thing. That felt like part of Star Wars to me. But I read many of the EU novels when I was younger, and I don't remember anything from any of them. I don't remember really what they had to do with anything, but it was a bizarre era, and it was basically just like shoot from the hip, make any story you want, and it's all I don't really know.
So I think most people of Johnny's generation were the ones that were complaining about the EU getting thrown out because they said, oh, Lucas approved everything, and they thought it was like, Lucasfilm official. Did you think that this was like some kind of, endorsed by Lucas? These were George Lucas's official stories, or did you just think this fan fiction?
No, I knew that they didn't really have anything to do with each other.
You were smarter than most, then, I would say, because I've had this argument ad nauseum with people about, no, Lucas did not endorse the EU. No, he did not have any involvement with the EU.
Well, because
very limited.
I knew other younger people who were totally not about it because Clone Wars was just erasing it. Clone Wars was overriding it, and the stuff didn't seem to matter to like. I know Johnny's not necessarily like a Clone Wars kid, but like the Clone Wars kids, they were just like, this doesn't even matter. This isn't part of this. This isn't part of the Star Wars I'm watching.
Yeah,
it was like that. It was already like such a fragmented, divided, weird kind of place.
I feel the same way about the books and the comics now. I don't care. what happens in the books or the comics, and I think it's a shitty excuse to just be like, oh, we'll explain that in a comic or whatever. Like Rise of Kylo Ren, I was so interested in that story, and it's like, okay, it's in a comic, nice. Yeah. I want to see it on screen.
Well, you don't want to see it in the comic because it's horrible. I mean, I just I wanted to go know what they were doing with the story, and so I
wait, Mark, you need to explain that. We were live on the Santa show. It was coming through on Santa's show or something? We thought you were trolling. I don't know. That's if I was live just now on Star Wars Santa's show while on my show, that's amazing. that is some next level melon.
That's like some multiverse shit right there.
I am virally just infecting Star Wars YouTube.
It's tough that started.
That's we thought you were trolling. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't think I have that power. Maybe
I don't see anything on his channel from today except a video.
Yeah.
Message.
Huh. Yeah, well, I did see that he was going live, or he had like a special Christmas message coming out, and ironically, as a joke, or not as a joke, but I was like, we should watch Santa's Christmas message together. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell people to go watch Santa's Christmas message. That way, we don't take from him. You know what I mean?
Mark,
I don't
explain yourself.
That. But if Santa's live, he's probably over on watching the old Santa show. But
isn't Star Wars Meg always on that show?
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I could see his message, and we're not popping in on there. But that would be awesome though if all of a sudden we were just like on Santa's show and we're like, yeah, Christmas is over. It's New Year's, dude. Marty says Mike Zero is locked in Star Wars Theory's basement.
Oh, man.
Mike Zero. I'm gonna say Mike Zero. He has to be. It has to be an Andy Kaufman act now.
No, he's just not very smart.
Yeah, you think he's just?
Yeah,
he's just not a bright guy.
Still going.
He's like I have to give him props. I mean, man, to be able to pull that bullshit off for as long as he has. I mean, you can't help but admire.
Back in the day, like sites used to report on his scoops and like what's happening? Like what was happening? What I don't know.
No, it's wild. Like I mean, on one hand, I'm like, I don't understand it. Like it's just beyond me. Like somebody's gonna like that's like a lot of those that like side of YouTube. I just don't understand why you're okay with somebody like lying to you or just like making stuff up. Because like I could just go, yeah, guess what, guys? And in a book of Boba Fett, then guess what, dude? Dengar bleeds out, and he's too stupid to take the bandages off his head and save himself. I don't know. I mean, it's like you can just say whatever you want.
Bizarro land over there.
But yeah. Somebody Paul thinks that maybe Mike Zero's special needs. I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, people I've known on the spectrum have actually been
legit on the spectrum.
Yeah, they're brutally honest. Usually, is my experience, and
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, whereas he is brutally dishonest. Mark Hamill says, "Be careful, James. If it's a Bothan, he'll shit on your doormat."
Mark, what did you mean about Star Wars Santa?
Yeah, what did you mean, Kendall? What's up? How's it going? Yeah, so you guys, hoping for any Star Wars presents this year?
I am.
Oh. Yeah. He says when I met Ewan. Okay. Now I get it. Yeah, because I was in the chat and I was like, I just fucking saw Ewan McGregor. And then Santa sent me. I pulled over on the side right there by the Apollo parking structure, where I look at the Mando set, And, and I was on the show for like a few minutes being like, yeah, anyways. Marty says Dengar does look like a drunk with a head injury who bailed the hospital mid-treatment to go get another drink. Yeah, he is kind of a crazy uncle.
He's voiced by Simon Pegg, so it's
that's true. Yeah,
down to the pub, grab a pint, wait for all this to blow over.
yeah. So, no, I was gonna say, are you guys hoping for any Star Wars shit for Christmas, or are you guys past it?
Can I start with that?
Yeah,
definitely hoping for another scoop from you, Jason. That's my style.
Oh, that's not fair. You can't say that to me on Christmas Eve. I can't do it on Christmas Eve. On a total side note, not a scoop, but I did. I how do I put it without being irresponsible? I've done some Kenobi work. I got Kenobi stuff coming. I got Kenobi stuff lined up, and I got to be chill.
Nice.
Though
something to look forward to in early 2022.
At some point before Kenobi, I should be able to drop some pretty big Kenobi bombs, because on this one right here, it's kind of fun, honestly, for me though, because I was just like, fuck Star Wars at that time. When this was going on, pandemic was going on. I had to worry about my family and stuff like that. Like, nobody knew how bad it was going to be or what it was necessarily. And I wasn't going down there and checking stuff out. But also you couldn't meet with anybody. It's kind of hard to have chance encounters or somebody to go, hey, oh, by the way, we cast Ewan McGregor in episode 1. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to happen when you can't go outside. You know what I mean? So this one right here probably has the best secret production of all time for Star Wars, in my opinion. Wow. Yeah, because of the way it was made, and it was made with a smaller crew and stuff for that reason. They were operating at kind of at minimal capacity for a lot of it, and but that's over. Now it's back. Now it's back to work. If you die, you die. If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, Kenobi's the one I'm excited about. Like that I'm so fucking hyped for that.
Yeah.
Because it gets us right back to like the mysteries of the Force, though, that we care about.
Tells of the Jedi, man. Tells of the Jedi, bro.
That's gonna be animated.
Yeah.
And that immediately deflates for me. It's more animation.
Yeah, that's what kind of sucks, is that they took the serious people in animation and moved them over to the live action stuff, and they're thriving. But they didn't replace them with people who operate at the same level or won't let them. You know what I mean?
John Lasseter effect at Pixar. Once Lasseter left, they were like, "Oh shit, we need to make a story." Nobody here can.
Right.
Yeah, I hope he is with Filoni and all of them bailing out on the animated side. Yeah, I like the animated side just because you're less limited in what you can do. You can pretty much do anything you want in animated, and because it's just easier to work with that medium as opposed to filming it live where a million things can go wrong and you have no control over it.
Yeah.
So that's what excites me about the animated stuff, is that you couldn't do the Mortis arc as a live action TV show without it making it look like Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
It would just look dopey and weird.
Yeah, it would. For Mortis to really work in live action, they would have to. They'd have to step up like particle effects and stuff. Like, there'd have to be all kinds of whimsical shit going on, and to not make it look like a flat, boring fantasy thing instead.
Yeah.
I always find it hard to care about the animated shows because I know it's so like James said, you can do pretty much anything in the animated shows, but it's also easy to just say, well, that's not canon anymore.
Well, Clone Wars, they do consider all that canon. So
no, but what I mean is, if they wanted to change something from that, it wouldn't be a big deal. They could be like, oh, whatever.
No,
yeah.
It would.
Well, the George Lucas side of it is where on Clone Wars. The other stuff, though, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, anything they consider George Lucas canon, they're not going to fuck with. But the comics and novels, they'll fuck with that. But Clone Wars, they never will. Bad Batch, Rebels, they'll never fuck with that because they consider that on par with the movies. So like where Rob says, I know, yeah, they'd throw out shit in a heartbeat if it got in the way. But that does not include anything that's produced by Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm is not going to shit on their own work. They'll shit on other people doing work for them, but not theirs.
Well, like Star Wars Rebels, right? In the big picture, you could see them just being like, "Oh, it didn't matter," and just forgetting it if they wanted to. But then when you look at like the fact that Filoni's doing the live action stuff, I think it's that's going to end up saving it. That's going to make it where now it's this amendment to this live action thing, and it actually in a weird way elevates it and protects it. But like Star Wars Resistance, I could see that getting erased. I could see them just going, never mind about that if they needed to. They probably won't need to because it's so off to the side and almost irrelevant. But if for some reason they needed to, I think they would. I think they would erase it.
Do you know anybody that likes that? I've seen people that are like gushing over it online sometimes. Like, what the fuck do you guys like about this?
Isn't it for like kids though? Isn't it like 8?
Yeah, but these are adults that like it.
Yeah.
It got interesting at the end, and that was unfortunate. It's like, oh, that should have been the premise of the whole fucking show, and you brought it up in like the final 2 episodes.
The stuff with Hux and stuff like that, like where it was kind of like starting to like tie into things. It was a lot more what I wanted, but I also would have been fine with them leaning into the speed racer aspects of it. And being like, yeah, we're doing Speed Racer in space. If that's real, it feel like those shows never go all in on what they are going in on. They always are like dabble. It's like satiate, but they don't do anything very right. And exactly. They throw the punch, but they pull it every single time. You're completely right.
Yeah.
And I like the characters. I like the ideas behind the characters on that show and stuff. Like they're not bad. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm not blaming the performers or whatever, or even the designs. It's ultimately comes down to just the storytelling being minimized continually.
Yeah.
And in animation, you should be able to tell almost anything. I know it's expensive to put a lot of shit on frame and animate and stuff like that, but that's where you should really be able to tell any kind of story that you want. That should be like, it should feel, animated Star Wars should feel liberated from live action in the sense that it's going to be able to take us places and do scopes. It's the scope that you can't do. And that's why like with like Bad Batch, like it's weird. Like we'll like shit talk Bad Batch on the show, and then I feel like I'm like, you know what? I don't know if that's in line with like how I feel about it. Then I watch Bad Batch and I'm liking it, but then I'm like, but the criticisms are still totally valid.
Yeah.
It's very it's strange.
You guys like the aesthetic of the Clone Wars and Bad Batch? The animation?
Yeah.
You do?
I really do. Yeah. And I get it, like obviously when they first like season 1 of the Clone Wars, production wise, they had to, they couldn't do like the Final Fantasy movie is probably like the, closest you got to like a live action animated movie, kind of blurring the lines. But that's way too expensive, way too long. So the fact that they stylized it and they didn't try to make it look real. So it's like, well, we can't do real, so we're going to stylize it. And then as seasons went on, technology got better. It got more photorealistic to the point where, now the lighting effects in the Bad Batch were amazing. When they had like the tanks going through the valleys and stuff, and you see the headlights. The effects work has gotten really, really good, where sometimes they are kind of blurring that line now. And it's like, ooh. But it's still somewhat stylized. It's interesting, even like the Ghost. Which they've now brought into live action, which in Rogue One and Rise of Skywalker, they remodeled it for the live action because it's still stylized for Rebels, even though it was made for Rebels. It's still cartoony.
Yeah. I in terms of like when the Clone Wars stuff very first came out, I was actually like, I thought it was a rather inspired concept when they were going with the wooded painted designs more, and it was like Thunderbirds, and I was like, that's crazy. Okay, I'm all about it. Then I watch the Clone Wars movie, and like Ahsoka can't even walk. Like the animation early on is bad. I mean, it's really bad. But then it starts to it grows pretty rapidly too. Like on me, like there's that scene with Cad Bane where I think it might have been in season 1 or season 2, but he's like in that room and like the blinds have like the light coming through, and he like has the toothpick and he's gonna go on a job, and it's like this looks really. I mean, that still is one of the most, I think, stunning scenes in Star Wars animation that they've done.
Yeah,
and but at the same time, oh, Jedi Dig Sensei, my favorite name of all time, Baba Booey. Howard Stern's penis. Yeah, basically, I feel like there is room to improve on the Clone Wars look, and then they did improve it when they got to Bad Batch. I mean, they moved away from the Thunderbirds look. It looks okay, and it does actually look better in a lot of ways, but after Star Wars Rebels, I'm not going to bitch about anything looking bad in the Clone Wars. You know what I mean? Star Wars Rebels is, I feel like a very ugly, boring looking show. I mean, it resides completely on the characters and the character performances. Is what makes the show work when it works.
What I like about Clone Wars, what they did, and Filoni talks about this because obviously he's a guy who comes from animation, and Lucas came from film, and mirroring those two worlds, where that was Filoni's big education, is that to try to make an animation cinematic. And it's funny because the first time I noticed it right away was the episode from season 2, Landing at Point Rain.
Yeah.
And it's all of a sudden the camera movements and stuff is very cinematic and very film-like. It's not animated at all. And then this is before I saw it, but the documentary then came out, I think, with that season, or they had some kind of documentary about the process of making the show. And Filoni said that was the time Lucas kind of came in, saw the episode, and said, "All right, we got a lot of work to do here," and got involved, and it shows 100%. It's a 9-day difference all of a sudden from that episode where it's like a light bulb clicked on, and it's like, yeah, they get it. They get how to make it look cinematic now.
Yeah,
and it got better and better since then.
I want to talk about something in the recent like the Clone Wars, like a final season sort of thing, that I want Star Wars to capture a little more often. And that is some of the dialogue between Ahsoka and Maul. Specifically when Ahsoka says, "You're lucky Anakin didn't show up." Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about that line, but it's like everything that we know about Anakin and how good he is as a Jedi, how sick he is, all of his skills or whatever. That all kind of like comes rushing in with like a big dopamine hit when she said that. And I don't know what it is about that, but I just want Star Wars to capture those moments a little more often when characters kind of play into the mythology of other characters within the galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is like the kind of like the tightrope that they walk, though, is like when you have the characters meeting, then people say they're making the galaxy smaller. Like they shouldn't, it shouldn't happen. At the same time, that is like a good example, though, of a new character, especially at the time she was newer, and she's meeting a Maul. It's like a classic character, and she's talking shit to him about a character who we do know. And I'm like, and I think that is in a weird way kind of how you do it. You know, like now Ahsoka is as everybody knows her, and she's gonna have her own show, and and you could almost make the argument again, it makes everything smaller. But I've always hated that argument, though, because why are you gonna go and create all of these great characters and never have them meet? Should we undo the Avengers and not do Avengers movies because it makes the superhero universe smaller? I disagree with the thought process behind it, but I do think you have to do it with class.
I think Rebels, the one thing it did do right was using Vader. Because he's barely in the show. When he shows up, it's fucking serious. It's not a joke. And that's the way you have to kind of play off Vader. I think with Vader, less is more. So I just wanted him to show up like he did at the end of that one episode of Rebels, and just like everybody's scared shitless, and they're like, "How are we going to survive this?" And they don't play him off as just like a cartoony figure that they just happen to, somehow get away. That it's like people could die, and they play it serious. And he's not in every episode. He shows up once, and it's like we were lucky to have made it out alive. And then obviously he shows up later in the Malachor arc, but again, still just he's in and out, and it's with purpose, it's with meaning, and they don't pull punches when they show him. And that's a fine line to do. I think Clone Wars did that because you introduced Ahsoka, you introduced Cad Bane, you introduced technically Rex. So you did introduce all these new characters. You had the older characters in there, but it really spun off and became more about these other characters. Filoni says it was Ahsoka and Rex show, and if they can do something like that where they can, maybe they have a show on Luke's Jedi Academy, and the main character though is another character in the academy, and Luke just happens to be there, and they use him purposefully and not overly. That's cool, but I don't want to see a show about Luke Skywalker.
The Marty McKay says the Rodriguez dilemma. If you had to choose one for a night out, Jabba's palace or Titty Twister. I would rather get killed by Selma Hayek. I think if Selma Hayek kills me, sure, I'll go with it.
That's a good way to go. Jason.
Yeah.
While we're on this stream, I got a message, and I got a Making Star Wars exclusive if you're interested.
Oh yeah? What is it?
I have just got sent a photo of Dengar from Book of Boba Fett. So we could drop some break the internet right now.
Show it now.
If you
send it to me. Send it to me. I'll put it up.
It's a Chris Spreezy.
James, you got a boner now?
Yeah, I'm leading into it, mate. I'm hyping it up a bit.
All right.
Bear with me. So, just got a message saying watching on the stream if you want to blah 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 blah. So we could do it right now if you want.
Yeah. Send it to me and I'll throw it up, and
I could
just dox them.
No, just DM it to me.
DM it to you, or I could just show it to you on my I'll just flip
okay.
But
it's gonna be something.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting right now. But so this is the last time we saw him, I believe. I don't know about the comics. I don't know about the comics or anything, but I was just so that's the last time we saw him.
Right.
We're all familiar with him.
Yeah. Old Dengar.
And so this is Dengar from Boba Fett. So are we ready to see?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Johnny's like, just hurry up and fucking show me.
No, I don't know what it is. Like, I think it's gonna be just a meme or something. Like,
no, not a meme. But so it's there.
Yeah. Okay.
Dengar from
the Empire. Okay, where's new Dengar?
Are we ready?
Yeah, ready.
Right, ready.
That's my grandma.
Oh, Grandma Dengar. Grandma.
This is why I have trust issues.
Sorry, I was going to my phone to talk about something. I have a photo on my phone I want to talk about. I'm like, I got to show Jason this.
Grandma Dengar.
Yeah, we got Dengar.
All right, go inside there, Johnny.
I was like, either he has it and this is the craziest coincidence ever, or it's going to be a meme. But it was Grandma, so hey, it's.
But sorry, this is a photo I did want to show you. So we all know this photo.
Yeah, and
I was looking at it again, and there's two things that really. Sorry, I'm changing topic, but
No, it's okay.
there's two things that really stick out to me right now. And if you look at the far left, it could be all right when I'm showing you. It definitely looks like a Wookiee. So we definitely.
Yeah, I've seen the actual like costume for the Wookiee like on the set, like being made or
the
being
black,
put.
the black.
Yeah, like a darker furred Wookiee, and so. But then that image came out, and it's like, well, I don't know if that image confirms it though, because it's like,
But it's the Creatures crew, so obviously they.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And so that's the first thing that really sticks out to me. And the second thing is Boba with the cape. So he's got a cape, and he's got like the bandolier thing that Chewie wears, if you can see that right there. So I definitely think. Sorry, I was just flicking through my phone. I wanted to bring this up with you. I definitely think that leak could be true. And
but the leaker could have also have just seen that and used. I mean, I'm not. It's chicken and the egg, right? Chicken or the egg. Like it's the leaker could have looked at that and decided that's what I'm going to use to derive my plot points from. But and I'm not trying to throw doubt on them if they're honest, because there's like nothing worse than when you try to like bring people what they want to know and then they all call you a liar. You're just like, what the fuck? I thought I was doing you all a big favor right now. And then you're all, but the person's post was taken down, so I never even saw it. You know what I mean? I just had the text sent to me. Yeah. So I don't even know who to cite for it.
I didn't know, because I don't think you reported that you saw the black Wookiee, Black Clan.
I went on Star Wars Santa show a long time ago, and I dropped it on there. Yeah.
Got ya.
Yeah. I saw that guy a while ago now, but
so it pretty much confirms it then.
Hey, James says random for another time, but just watch the 80s movie Biggles. The lead guy who plays James Ferguson looks identical to Mark Hamill. He would have made a good Anakin if the prequels were made in the 80s. Yeah, the guy who plays Mace in the Ewok movies, he's like, I should have been Anakin. I could have done it better. And I'm like, dude, I saw you play Mace, man. I mean, you were on TV in the 80s, so I'm not going to beat you up about it.
The Ewok movies are completely off the rails.
Great, off the rails, perfect. You mean? Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like it when he says Star Cruiser. Star Cruiser.
Teak is one of the best characters ever.
Teak fucks. I'm not gonna lie. Teak fucks. Yeah, he used to be in the Star Tours boarding video. When you would go on Star Tours, you'd see like Teak sitting in there, and I was like, I think that was like Teak's only other appearance and then that got erased when they made Star Tours 2. Teak is gone. But all right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna call this one a show because we've been going for like 2:12 right now.
I thought it was gonna be a good show, Jason.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be too. But my children are arriving right now, so I'm gonna get them situated and stuff like that. And I might come back on in a little while, depending. And Johnny, if you're free to hang out, I will hit you up. And
I'll you guys, I'm subbing out from all family things today because I don't want to get drunk today, and I'll get drunk tomorrow.
Okay.
So
yeah. So yeah,
I can't be around my grandparents without drinking. So
yeah, watch out if your grandma's Dengar though, because
she looks exactly like him.
Dude, you are the grandson of Dengar. I mean, officially, you are Dengar's grandson.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's. Yeah, I keep wanting to make trying to form Dengar the Gar into grandma, but it doesn't work. And my brain's just like, you can do it. And I'm like, it doesn't work, brain.
It's okay. We all know I am. So
yeah, the grandson of Dengar. That was amazing. Good, that was a good one. I'm gonna give you credit for that because that really could have been crickets. I mean, if it was just some meme but it was your grandma. Yeah. That took it up to here, and it was.
Look,
it was
I appreciate it. I'm sorry that I got your hopes up, Johnny, but
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was 15
back
minutes
one
ago.
day.
Was a simpler time. Now that we're going into 2022 and Book of Boba is going to come out. Dengar's not going to be in it. We're all going to be sad. No, I do hope. I do hope that boss stuff is true, and I do. Yeah, and Eric Walker, I'm sure is a cool guy. I don't, you know what I mean? Yeah, he seems cool and nice, but I am just gonna say, like, Aiden Christensen and Eric Walker, I'm gonna say is a little above the Eric Walker level so far.
I'm a Hayden apologist because he's a good Canadian boy. So
he is a good Canadian boy.
yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
I honestly have a feeling that it in a weird way. Sometimes when they say he's being wooden, he's just being Canadian and wanting to apologize, and he can't.
Sorry, beat that.
I hate you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Someone needs to make a Canadian cut of Revenge of the Sith right now. Hip off Mace's hand. Sorry, dude. That.
Merry Christmas, PA 400. My favorite droid. I'm just gonna assume that your name is a droid's name now. He's signing in London next year. He's like, I should have been Anakin Skywalker. sorry. I went there. Sorry. But anyways, yeah,
bottom of the hour.
Yeah, if Rob is free, I'm gonna talk about the Matrix with him, and I'm curious to see what Rob thinks. I gotta say, I miss Rob.
Yeah,
you know, he's always being like, oh, Rob, and I'm like, hey man, stop, man. He's like, oh, and then now I'm like, man, I miss you, Rob. Where you at, girl? I miss you. Let's not fight anymore. You know, you don't have to go back to your wife. It's Christmas. Come on, can't tell her you got to work, baby. You know, but. Anyways, if I don't see any of you again before Christmas, everybody have a great Christmas and relax, get drunk or don't, and we'll be back. Yeah, hey, it's 6 a.m. Are you going to bed right now?
No, I'm gonna start to cook some food now, and then I'm gonna go to bed.
All right, man, dude. Thanks for letting us keep you up for 2 hours on the short show.
No, my pleasure. Anytime you want.
All right, man. All right, everybody. Merry Christmas, and we'll see y'all later.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
Good job.
That was fun, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Yeah.
If we do the Matrix later, I definitely need to clear